Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back.
Yeah, man, how you doing? You good? I know you like that. I know you like that. How long you been back, man?
Welcome back.
You know you like that.
Welcome back.
You know you like that.
Welcome back.
You know you like that. You know you like that.
Welcome back.
What? You know you like that. Come on. You know you like that.
Good afternoon, everyone. Come on, come in. We had a minor delay, but we are back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome to Live It Out Inc. Thursday night segment on mental healing. Make sure you guys click like, click share, subscribe to our YouTube page if you haven't, and just come on in. Remember, we are a nonprofit organization that advocates for suicide awareness, mental health, emotional well-being, and our focus for 2022 is mental healing. Yes, we are on the road to mental healing. And just to recap a few takeaways that we've been working on from the last previous segments, remember we are building an emotional vocabulary. So we're building an emotional vocabulary. We're setting our boundaries versus our standards. And we're creating a mental toolbox that gives us coping strategies to deal with life when life throws us those challenges, when we have those difficult decisions to make, when it's just hard for us. We need that mental toolbox to go to so we'll know how to deal with things. As part of our physical healing, remember, we're trying to get addicted to feeling better, not just mentally, but physically. Also making being healthy a lifestyle. So we want to be healthy mentally, and we got to take care of our bodies, our mind, and our soul. Another thing is knowing those triggers when we do that emotional eating, gaining weight, relationship weight, eating because we're depressed, or overeating, or undereating, or whatever those are for you. Just knowing your triggers. And tonight, as we continue on this mental healing journey, oh my goodness, I am so excited. I'm glad you guys are here tonight. You do not want to miss tonight. It is going to be epic. Tonight, we have a very special young lady that is on an amazing journey to divine healing. Her name is Divine Dee. We got to find out what's that all about. She's the author of a book called From Energetic Particles to Mental Matter. She has a live stream, a virtual class. She's an entrepreneur, and she's building her brand, and she is a force to reckon with in the mental health realm. Beautiful young lady, positive energy, strong positive vibes, and she's making her mark, y'all. So y'all look out for divine healing. So coming, I want to introduce you. Coming from backstage is Miss Divine Dee, and she can tell us what to call her.
Divinity is fine.
Divinity. So we're going to call her Divinity. I love it. I love that name. It says a lot within itself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Divinity. First of all, where are you from? Where are you located?
I'm on the south side of Chicago.
I thought so. Chi-Town. Yes, Chicago.
Yep. Born and raised.
All the way from Chicago. You ladies give Miss Divinity live it out, throw your L's up for Divinity and say hello. This is gonna be so good. I know it. So we're gonna jump right in. So glad you can, and you're such a young, beautiful lady.
Thank you.
How old are you?
I just made 30.
Yes, I knew it. I told her.
I'm in the 30 club now.
Yes. I love it. We got young sisters that's doing it. It is so beautiful. Yes, young queens. So let's talk about the name Divinity. How you come up with Divinity?
You know, it was divinely given to me because I didn't have to mentally effort my way to a nickname. Like, what am I call myself? Or am I have a stage presence? Or I kind of just grew into my divine nature, and Divinity kind of just stuck. I like the ring to it. I like how it fit right in the middle of my name. And so I'm like, yeah, this was divinely given to me. So I just own it now.
That's right. Yes, you wear it well.
Thank you.
So let's get into it because I'm gonna give you the opportunity because I really want to hear about your book and some of the other things you got going on. But let's how did you begin your journey to divine healing? Talk to me about divine healing.
Well, long story short, but given enough insight, I felt myself slipping into a depression, right? So I had gotten to this whole tussle with my I was engaged. I ended up losing everything, and it was like a second wind of, but instead of me slipping into depression, it was like a second wind of, okay, you can either fall victim to this or you can overcome it, or you could put yourself where you see yourself and you could start self-educating and you could really just prove to yourself that different things can be done. And so that's what I did. I feel like it was just like an intuitive nudge that I was willing to adhere to and align with. And so that's really what opened me up to my healing, because I was without everything. I was stripped from without, I was without everything that I loved. And so it was just me. It was me versus me at that point. So I was just like, well, let me see, what role I play in the grand scheme of things on a more universal scale. Like, I couldn't get the answers from church. My mom and them didn't have it. My grandmama and them, the circle of friends that I had, obviously they was thinking just like me. So we was all spinning within our toxic cycles. And so I just could never get clarity. And so I just really just had to bet on me. It wasn't until I came across a passage in the Bible that it was Jeremiah 29, I believe, that was saying, seek me with all of your heart and then you'll find me, or something like that. And I instantly interpreted that into closing the Bible and opening your heart. And so that's what I did. That was my first initial step towards my divine healing.
Oh wow, that's awesome too. That is awesome. So when you started this journey to divine healing, how did it affect the people around you? I heard you say you was just spiraling in a circle of toxic people. So when you started your journey, how did they respond to it?
I had to detach from them because I understood that I had a vision that they didn't have. I couldn't allow that because I already saw where it was going. So I knew that I needed to be isolated. I knew I couldn't really hear and gain clarity with all of the moving parts that I had within my space. So I detached. I say it was all intuitively guided. It was like a divine intervention for me. It was hard to stay detached. It was hard to stay separated, but that was my endurance period. And that's when I learned, like, you could start a thing, but it's the endurance that really matters. Like, it's not 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like, if you really want this, if you really want to see what's to come, you really got to stay with it. And so I'm just so grateful for my willingness, because right now, consciously thinking, it's like, dang, I don't even know how I did that, but I know it was divine. I know it was a subconscious root. It was something subconsciously taking place within me that was making me willing to get up and do it every single day.
So because a lot of people struggle with that detachment that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So with people like people have soul ties where they just can't detach themselves from certain people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they probably don't have the divine intervention like what you had, like your connection with God and all, and you knew that, hey, you was set on Jeremiah 29, and that scripture stuck with you and you was riding with it. But for people who don't have that, what are some of the things that you knew that you were struggling with when you was trying to detach yourself from those toxic people, if that makes sense?
My thoughts, battling with my thoughts of going back, being complacent. That's when I really realized it was me versus me. Because it's like, okay, well, I just put in all of this intention, all of my energy and effort and emotion going in this direction. And then there's a small voice in the back of my head that's contradicting everything that I'm doing. So I'm like, okay, well, what's really going on? Like, who's really pulling the strings here? So I came to realize that the enemy was the inner me. And I always tell my team, even when I'm doing trainings, it's going to hurt whether you persevere or whether you procrastinate. So whether you break those cycles or stay spinning within them, you're still going to be in pain. But one of those spectrums of pain is going to be temporary. And one of them you can transmute into passion, purpose, power. And so without giving too much, because I do want to stay on, your questions, because I will just start speaking on like my vision board.
Okay. Hey, you dropping gems, girl. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. That's something that I would definitely say. That's something that I really had to consider myself, understanding that, okay, I'm gonna be in pain either way. So me not persevering, if I'm scared to challenge myself because I feel like it's gonna be too painful, I feel like it's gonna be, too tough of a task. It's real tough staying in the same tight spot. It's real tough laying next to somebody that I'm really questioning if they, you know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like, all right, if I'm gonna be in pain anyway, let me go ahead and transmute it. Let me experience another. I just became willing. And I heard Dr. Miles Monroe once say that the will of man is the most powerful force on the planet. And if you're willing, if you just be willing, to see what you could do, willing to push past even when you don't feel like it, willing to put yourself where you see yourself, those are the things that make the way, for incremental changes to, integrate within your space.
Oh wow, that is awesome, girl. Look, you over here inspiring and motivating me. I'm like, yes, I
I
feel
love
it.
it.
I feel it. So, with your divine healing, how does that affect your mental health? How or promote your mental health or well-being for that matter?
My decisions are better. My inner narrative is better. My thoughts are much beyond the frequency that I began on. I'm aligning with better ideas. I'm aligning with a bigger belief system. And it's all due to my willingness. It's all due to my consistency. It's all to do with me exposing myself to new environments, new people that this time last year I would have been fearful to sit in the same room with 6 and 7 figure earners. I wouldn't have known how to come off an appropriate angle, or stand in my truth in a way that I don't want to offend them, or what if they think this, or what now I'm just real certain, like within myself.
Mhm.
So it's been supernatural. It's been a supernatural
Yeah.
shift.
Oh, I love it. Oh, that is awesome. So, okay, now without giving it away, because I know you got a virtual class. I know you got some stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's coming up in March 1st.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk a little bit about identifying and healing from those childhood traumas. Just a little bit. Give me a little snippet of that. What's that about?
So the childhood traumas, a lot of us, well, for me, I'm gonna speak on personal tip, and it is gonna be general because I realized that I wasn't the only person going through it. I was not identifying my traumas as being traumas. I was normalizing my traumas
Okay.
because I was conditioned to believe that the way I'm showing up is okay. My mama validate this because my mama did it. And like I said, it goes back to like me just, being a product of my environment. So it was a normality. My toxic traits were a normality. It wasn't until my toxicity became so overbearing that I had no choice but to reconstruct the way I was seeing my reality. Because like I said, I was about to slip into depression due to my toxic ways, due to how I was showing up. And so I really had to shift gears. I had to shift the way that I was seeing it because I didn't identify it as being, a trauma. A lot of people are not aware that they're acting out of trauma. A lot of people feel like, okay, this is just me. I'm real. I'm gonna be like this to the day I die, and I ain't changing. Ain't no course correction, no self accountability, none of that. And so we keep those cycles spinning. And and like I said, sometimes when people realize that it's a trauma that needs to be healed, sometimes they don't want to really confront that. They don't want to sit with that because that is painful. That is a hard pill to swallow. But like I said, if you have to, switch the perspective to either I'm gonna heal and experience my pain this way so I could transmute it, or I'm gonna stay the same and I'm gonna keep spinning. I'm gonna keep experiencing this pain and enduring it. And then not only am I going to absorb this pain and keep layering and suppressing it, I'm going to begin to project it onto other people. And then I'm gonna look up one day and I'm gonna live in a world full of unhealed, hurt people. And hurt people hurt people. And that's why everything is so chaotic now. Like I feel like the world wars of the world are a direct reflection to people really being at war with themselves on a more subatomic level.
Oh yeah.
So
I feel exactly where you're coming from with that one. Yes, those people that's in higher power and higher positions are at war with themselves and they're projecting it on the lower level people. So I totally get that. Um, so when you say you slip, you say you caught yourself slipping in depression. A lot of people can't do that. A lot of people can't catch themselves slipping into depression. Next thing you know, it's been 3 months later and they haven't taken care of themselves. They're slacking at the job. Things are going wrong at home, and all of a sudden they manic depressed. So how did you? What are some ways you can say that you caught yourself like, hey, this was a red flag for me. I knew that I was getting ready to slip into depression when this happened. I knew something was off when this happened. Especially young people, especially inexperienced people that haven't had a lot of life experience. So how can you share some of that with us?
not to get too personal, I never spoke on this before. So this is the first
Okay.
time I'm ever speaking on it. Because that question just put it in perspective. I feel like the moment I really realized that I was slipping into my depression is not only after, my engagement fell apart. I was at the time, because I was toxic. I was, I was going through like an identity crisis, right? So I ended up with this female. Um, it got real bad to the point where, usually like when the guy's doing the dogging and they, taking advantage, they keep going and keep going. And that's what anybody, just like draining and draining. And that's what I was doing. But it got to a point where I began to feel bad. I began to absorb her pain. And it was like, something not right. Like it's not right, and I know a lot of people can't catch that. And this is why I feel like I have to choose different. Like, it's a play on words when people say you're chosen. I feel like when you're chosen, you choose different, you move different, you do, you think different. And so that was my awakening, because it was like I didn't feel comfortable taking advantage of this person anymore. I didn't feel comfortable allowing this person to break her back for me and my daughter. And it was just like really like straight up no chaser. Like, nah, come on, get out the ego, get out your ways. You cocky, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not about what you can make a person do. And oh my God, it was disgusting. So I was able to get like an external view of myself, a bird's eye view of myself. And I became accountable from that point on. I had to detach from her. It was in my mind, like, okay, I know she's not going to leave. She's not going to detach. So I have to do, and that was tough because she was giving me everything I needed. And so I never talked about this before. So, but that was something that was really like, yeah, I ain't gonna be able to do that. It just didn't, it did not feel right. Now, it never felt right. I was suppressing it. I was overlooking it. I was sweeping it under the rug, and I was still going with the flow because I wasn't. But after that, it was just like, nah, that was the awakening for me. It was just like, yeah, that's what it was.
Okay, well, I mean, that's good stuff. So, you knew that the way you was treating her was kind of like throwing you under your depression. So, how did you come out of that? You did. Is that one of the people you had to detach yourself from?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
It couldn't have been no in and out. There was no in and out straddling the fence. It was just, this is definitely what I got to do. So what I did was I changed my number. At first I blocked everybody, but then they started calling from other numbers.
Yeah.
So I had to change my number. And it was tough. That was tough because that was life's way of asking me or presenting the option, or the how bad do you want this? How bad do you really want this? Right? It's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be easy. It's gonna be worth it, but it's not gonna be easy. And so I couldn't really see it, in the beginning stages. I didn't know how it was gonna end. I couldn't see my middle. I couldn't see anything. I just had to take a chance. And I'm like, I know for a fact this is, and it had already been tugging on me for a while. It just finally I got to a point where I was like, okay, enough is enough. Because obviously, I just told you I was breaking off an engagement. So if you put two and two together, I was messing with two people, not sexually. Me and the girl was not sexual at that time, but still, that trade off of energy, that time investment, the intentions were wrong. So that's what that was about.
Yeah, and it usually don't work out well when it's like that. So that's just a life lesson learned. Uh, proud of you, Queen. You making some moves. Those are some very very powerful decisions that you had to make in life and getting to know yourself and going into your divine healing. Now, you mentioned something about karmic patterns in one of your little excerpts for your class. Now, I'm interested in that because I've never, just heard of karmic patterns.
A lot of times people feel like, well, it's good karma and bad karma, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty much the wavelength, the energy that you most commonly or most consistently emit into this universal plane that is going to align you with karmic patterns or soulmates or, your soul tribe or whatever, depending on what frequency you're on. So when I say karmic patterns, I mean, just like, okay, for example, the girl that I was dealing with, if I would have perpetuated that situation, that obviously that wasn't my soulmate. That's somebody that situation, that relationship was solely sent to me to learn from. It was not meant for me to let it overextended stay and play with it and get my ego involved and let it spin off for years and years. And a lot of times that's what it is. We get in these relationships that are sent to raise our awareness to some capacity. Like it's meant to teach us more about ourselves. And instead of us taking the things that the person do or that you do while you're in a relationship as a lesson learned, we become engulfed in it and we misinterpret why this person is here. And that's where you get like people are here for a season, reason, and a lifetime and stuff like that. So karmic patterns are patterns that continue to show up because you're not learning the lesson that you need to learn, whether it be a relationship, a situation, an emotional bondage, whatever it is. If something is constantly showing up for you, yeah, it's a karmic debt that you have to pay. You have to pay attention to that. Sometimes we overlook the things that we're supposed to be looking right into. And so that's what I was doing. And so that's really what, twin flame, karmic partners, soulmates are three different wavelengths, they carry three different energetic signatures. You know, one of them you learn from, one of them you learn with, and the other you learn, you can kind of, they mirror you. They mirror where you come from. That's why some people feel like, oh, I just feel like I've known this person all my life. And so
Yeah.
you can get stuck in that for real. And that's them soul ties you was talking about.
Yeah.
And because you're not learning the lesson.
Girl, your name really is divinity because you speaking right into me. I have to hear it from you to deal with what my situation has been or being and stuff. Oh man, this is so
Wow.
good. Okay. Let me because I got some stuff going. All right, now we talking about the benefits of meditation. Now we've done meditation. We've even had a meditation expert on here and all of that. So what are some of the benefits that you reap from meditating?
Well, one of the benefits for me is awareness. So I would say when I first began meditation, I was new to it. I used to hear people always talk about the benefits of meditation, but to me, it was like, okay, I'm gonna sit in a dark room and I'm gonna just come up with answers that I don't have right now. If I had the answers, I would have them. I don't have them, so I'm not gonna do meditation. That discouraged me. But as you know, the energies became more dense and it became more overwhelming. I just was like, okay, I need to try this. So I started 5 to 10 minutes. The first thing that I noticed was I would get all of these random thoughts coming across the forefront of my consciousness that I was not consciously choosing to think. And so that raised my awareness to, damn, if this is happening without me consciously, setting an intent for me to think these thoughts, what else is taking place within me that I'm not aware of or that I'm not consciously choosing? Is there healing? Is there any type of hurt? Is there any type of power? Is there clarity that I could tap into? That encouraged me to spend more time with myself. So number one, I feel like meditation raises awareness, right? Detachment, it teaches you the power of detachment because you understand that these thoughts that are coming, you're not consciously choosing them, but you can tap into a stillness that detaches you from those things that are trying to penetrate your field. And that's the same thing when you come out of meditation. When you have people projecting BS to you, you're able to that energy is not penetrating your field as readily as it was before you began your practices of meditation, because now you understand detachment. Now you understand, the buildup of energy that you emit in your space within your stillness. So awareness, detachment, you can get your healing, because a lot of people don't understand that hurt and pain and traumas is nothing but leftover energy that is crying for release. And so sometimes we come up as triggered, angry, bitter. And it's not that it's just that this is the way that the traumas and the energy call for our attention. It's bubbling up, it's trying to come up. And so you triggered you bitter, you get all these labels on you because you're avoiding your healing. So meditation allows a space for you to heal. It allows you to, breathe in your success, breathe in your clarity, exhale your pain, your doubt, your lack, your limitation. And you could really, really feel the exchange in energy when you set that intention. Like if you just sitting there and you just breathing and you have no intentions, your belief system is not wrapped up in it, your emotions is not really all in it, then yeah, it might be like a whole bunch of hocus pocus. But with your intentions, with your, you go in with it, the intent is powerful, first of all. So if you set your intentions and you're trying to mold your belief system around this thing that you're doing, you're going to feel the release of the energies. And sometimes we get frustrated. Well, I know I did, when it seemed like the healing was not occurring quick enough for me. I had to realize, like, okay, that's a lot of energy that I've been holding on to. So sometimes, depending on the situation or how severe it was, you have to release that in increments, in different healing sessions. Like it's gonna take a couple. Then this is where being patient with your healing comes in. Like you really have to trust your process, because in my mind, it was like, okay, I'm gonna give myself 12 months, but then 12 months is up and I'm still not where I thought I was gonna be. Now I feel like I'm doing something wrong. It's like, no, you have to continue to endure your season. You ain't over. Your season is not over, right? So that's really what I had to realize. So if there's a host of things that meditation can provide, but those are like the initial. It's various stages and phases to meditation, but those are like the initial. And then it also practice stillness, you practice centering and grounding yourself. So like I said, that external energy is not so available, like you're not so accessible to it. You're not absorbing other people's traumas. You're observing without absorbing the things that you're experiencing.
Got you. Girl, look, you got me like this. I'm sitting here like, Wow.
I know I'm just talking and talking.
No, but it's needed. It's needed. It's exactly what we need for mental healing. We need to know how to release the energy that you were talking about and how to observe and not absorb some of the negative stuff that's coming toward us. We need to know how to get rid of that stuff. This is awesome. And one more thing that you mentioned on your page, you said the power of the thought. And that really stood out to me about how powerful our thoughts are. So talk to me a little bit about the power of the thought.
Let me show you real quick. This is something that I take with me to every speaking event, every pop-up shop, every webinar. This is the power of thought right now. I've lost 125 pounds, but it's not about the weight. I always tell people it's not about the physical weight. It's about the internal shift. It's about the internal weight I had to release. So when I see her, I take into account the thoughts she was having, the lack, the people she had in her space, the decisions that she were making. And then when I see her, I don't see so much as beauty. I just see realignment. I see consistency. I see self-discipline. So this is the power of thought. This is why I bring this everywhere so that people can understand and see. I'm trying to get it to be, okay. So that they can really see the power of thought and what a made up mind, like when you really conscious and deliberate and consistent with, it's one thing to create a vision board. It's one thing to speak a thing. It's another thing to align your actions consistently with that thing that you're trying to come to pass, right? Because I would look at a vision board. I would be writing all of these goals down and praying, and I'm not really in alignment with my assignment. I'm not really showing up as powerfully as I know I can. I'm not really holding myself accountable. I'm waiting on a God to provide something for me that I'm not showing up for. So it's kind of like I'm holding everything and everybody else to a higher standard but myself. I'm like, well, where's my accountability? And it was just really like I had to put my own ass on a platter. And it's like, I was self-sabotaging for so long and I didn't know. So when I stepped into, now I have like a blank canvas that I could just create whatever I want at my leisure. And it's so supernatural. And it brought me to tears the other day because I came across a YouTube video real quick. If y'all could go look at it, it's going to be mind blowing. Pure consciousness, the power of repetition. When I first started my journey, I was 309 pounds. And it's not about the weight because you got a lot of people around here that serve. They look good, but internally they depleted. Internally they don't feel good. So I really had to not only correct my body or, put the appropriate things that's going to fuel me and, allow my body to function at its absolute best. I had to feed my mind. I had to read. I had to engage in different income producing activities because I was used to working a job or waiting on a handout. Like I didn't know nothing about creating my own reality from the inside out. So I got in alignment with higher thoughts, and anytime a negative thought would come, I would have affirmations to supersede that thought. And I would always tell myself, like, these are not my thoughts. These thoughts can't stay here. These ain't mine. These are not mine. I mean, it's so many. And we can go into like the collective consciousness of how thoughts travel from, people that are no longer here to people that's across the street. And you stay in a, like an urban area full of poverty and people who have lack and limitation in their headspace. It's energy and it will travel to your space and you become a product of your environment and you think these are your thoughts and you're not really understanding. Most of them are, some of them are not. And so you have to learn how to decompartmentalize. And that's what I had to do as it pertains to my thinking, because my thinking was getting in my way. I was in my own way. I would be blaming everybody else like they sleep on me or they hating or no, it's just like, no, that's not it. So it really, I had to become accountable for the way I was thinking, the way I was speaking, the things I was eating, the people I was around, the decisions I was making, everything. So, and it wasn't like a one-time decision. I understood that I got to choose me every day. Every day sometimes I don't feel like getting up, working out. I don't feel like launching a training call. I don't feel like prospecting. I don't feel like doing follow-ups, but do I have to do it? Is somebody relying on me or is somebody going to be at a disadvantage if I don't do this? Yes. Me, I feel like I live a life of conviction if I don't walk in my purpose. Because when I'm not doing this, I feel convicted within my spirit. I feel anxiety. But when I'm doing it, I'm blissful. I'm valuable. Like I just feel it's like a irreplaceable feeling. It's a natural high.
Yes. Well, I'm gonna say this. You have truly been you truly living up to that name because everything you just said, it applies to me. But that's if I had this at 30 when I was your age, oh my goodness. So now just listening to you, and I'm glad the people on the feed and you're getting a lot of feedback. Thank you guys. And somebody had a question.
I see it.
You want to answer the question now? Or you want to finish what you're saying?
Okay, well, let me before we lose it. The question
Okay.
is, what advice would you give to someone that may be interested in meditating but has never done it before?
I would advise you to start slowly, 5 to 10 minutes. I started 5 to 10 minutes. Now, what I will say is, just like I just briefly explained, you're going to get a swarm of thoughts that are going to come and they're going to come and they're going to come. My advice to you for beginners when I speak on different tips and tricks and stuff is maybe focus on like the humming sound of an air conditioner or a fan, or maybe the dripping of a faucet, something that's going to not get you so intertwined into those thoughts. Your objective is to detach from those thoughts because you're trying to tap into a stillness. Inside of your stillness, it becomes an experience. You're not overly thinking, you're not trying to, come to a conclusion. You're not, and you're not always receiving the spiritual downloads during that time of experience. Sometimes it's just meant for you to experience a different frequency, your being in a different dimension, if you will, right? You can't really put words on it because words don't reach the magnitude of the experience that I'm trying to express. This is why I feel like each man should, and you're gonna have your own experience, don't get me wrong. It's not a how-to step by step, this is exactly how you do it. This is just what worked for me, and I know that once you go into this practice, you are going to be divinely instructed on what to do, depending on how willing you are, because sometimes we can get frustrated and that will goes out the window and then we feel like it don't work. No, you just be patient with yourself. 5 to 10 minutes, do it for a consecutive week. Within your first session or two, you're gonna notice something, right? And I'm gonna speak on one more thing. Once you can get those random thoughts to subside, once you can really lock in, once you can really concentrate on your stillness, what's then going to happen is, another part of meditation is those traumas that you suppressed, those are going to start coming up because now you're giving it space. Right now, just like your life, you got a lot of distractions, a lot of moving parts. You can't really get to the real deal, Holyfield. It's the same thing in meditation. Meditation is going to teach you life. So when you go into meditation, you're going to understand that this is how I do this in meditation, and it's also going to apply when I come out of meditation. Oh, I see how this bridge, how it all comes to a full circle. I see how all things are connected. I'm understanding this now. And then also, like, I understood doing meditation that once I would get these spiritual downloads, sometimes I wouldn't, and I would get frustrated, like, dang, I thought I would get a little bit more, not realizing that once I come out of meditation, because I made space, because I released, some of the energies that were into my in my auric field or in my space, my energetic space, right? As I would do this practice of releasing, I didn't understand consciously that subconsciously I was making room for clarity even outside of meditation through the things that I was experiencing. It'll be like, oh, I see that. I didn't see that before. And then I put it together like, that's because of that stuff I did during meditation. And I went back and I started to release it. I'm like, oh, let me make some more. It became a game. It became like a warfare. It became like, it was a roller coaster. It was up and down, but I never gave up on me. And I'm still not. I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but I'm nowhere near where I began. Nowhere near where I began. And I'm just so grateful to be here. And all I want to do is take millions and millions of people with me. Like, I don't want to be just blessed. I want to be a blessing to be a blessing. I want to be blessed to be a blessing. And I feel like people who are have like a scarcity mindset, once they reach financial success, they miss the step, because success is not just limited to the financial. Like, if you're not successful in your way of thinking, being, doing, speaking, decision making, micromanaging your emotions, you're not really successful. You're coming up short. And for you to think that success, like myself, I used to think that success was based upon a dollar amount. And until I realized that, wow, it's a lot of people around here that they got a lot of money in the bank and they really depleted for real. And they're not really investing money versus spending it and all of that old. So when you're not really in alignment with success for real, you will flip a blessing into a curse if you come across a couple dollars.
Definitely.
I know I kind of just swayed that, but
no, that's real talk.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, look, they say you preaching. You got me out here like, yeah, I want to get up and be like, yes. You can say that. You have given us so much. You have given us so much. And Tanya say for her, she keeping things from the past so deep down. That's a little scary, because for me, I think I keep things from the past so deep down to not remember them. So she's continuing to suppress those feelings or some those things from the past.
So I will say, Queen, like take into consideration the things that are showing up in your physical reality. Like, for example, this call right here that you're on, you can take it as, you can consider this to be a divine intervention if you want to take it that way, since you already are able to understand that, okay, I do got some stuff going on. I am hearing what this person is saying. Now, moving forward, am I going to take this as my divine message, or am I just going to put this in my back pocket and kind of like build upon it and see, okay, well, if it's really meant for me to heal, then I'll run into something else. So it's really up to you. Like, your shift begins when you say when. So when you're ready to, really, then things are going to start showing up in your life that's going to, that you can interpret into, okay, well, this is why you create why things are showing up in your mind to get the best outcome, right? So you can create this like, okay, I know that this call was for me to start tapping into my healing. And I'm not taking it like it was a coincidence. I'm not taking it like it was just, by chance that I'm here. This is what I'm taking it for. And you set your attentions around, doing your due diligence or whatever you need to do, after this. And you will receive your healing when you get ready.
Yeah.
It's good that you're aware. It's good that you're aware.
All right, Tanya, you got that. Do you guys have anything else for divinity? Because you are so right. It was everybody that's on this feed tonight, everybody that's tuned in, you were meant to be here. God had a message in this that divinity has just delivered. Believe it or not, girl, you just ministered to everybody that was on this feed, and you have really been a blessing to me personally. Let me say that you have really blessed me tonight, and oh my goodness, I am so awed by the knowledge and the energy and just your willingness. I heard you say you got to have that willing spirit. You got to be willing to choose you every day, to make those decisions, those choices, to do that detachment from the toxic people, and to live your purpose, to walk in your purpose and do what you are designed, what God has designed and designed for you to do. And I receive it. Just let me say, I receive every word you just spit out on this air tonight on Live It Out Inc. I truly do. And I thank you for it.
And that means a lot to me. That means a lot. That's confirmation. And things like that allows me to keep going. Sometimes because fear still comes, right? Like sometimes because I'm moving a lot, I'm in a lot of people's faces. This is the things that I created. And sometimes the fear comes. And it was kind of like, why, if I got it, if I know what I'm doing, why is this fear here? But it's not to stop it, but you become an overcomer, right? You overcome the things that is coming towards you. You don't stop it. The fear still comes. Like your top athletes, your top performers, they still get fear with before they just don't respond to it the same way that they would have when they were in their lower self or when they were in their lesser ways of thinking, right? So It's really just the way you show up. And for me, when I'm fearful now, I know it's go time because I know I'm finna learn something. I know I'm finna provide some value. I know I'm finna resonate with some people and make some good connections. So now I just interpret my fear differently. I don't interpret it to be there to stop me, because I would have came up with all kind of excuses and I just would have been thinking for you like, no, she gonna think this about me or she gonna think that. And so I just don't respond to it the same. So even sitting here, like being able to measure my growth and hearing what you're saying is just really like I'm receiving that too as confirmation, because it wasn't by chance that I'm on here either. This was for me to experience divinity in a whole nother light again and again and again. I'm just gonna keep doing it. And so I'm grateful.
Let me say, don't stop. You are powerful. Your words are very powerful and inspiring. And that fear, that's humbleness. I had a preacher tell me one time, if you're not afraid, if you don't have fear when you get up to talk, then you're in yourself.
Wow.
So to have that spirit of humbleness, that fear that you feel, and every time you get ready to speak, or you be like, oh Lord, I need you to come through for me.
Yes.
Humbling yourself before him and saying, God, I can't do this without you. And because of you, I'm here. So you keep going, because you are a powerful young queen. You are. It's all over you.
Thank you. You gonna make me cry.
Girl, no, I am so serious. Like I got chills right now just listening to you speak, and it is amazing. It really is. And I want you to tell us about your book, because I'm gonna go purchase your book. I'm gonna pour into you. I'm gonna follow you. I'm gonna stay all the way up from Atlanta to Chicago, girl. I'm gonna keep up with you. So tell us how to follow you on IG and talk a little bit about your book.
Okay,
so what else you got going on? Because you got a lot going. You got some amazing things going on.
Yes, so I'm putting together development courses, so pretty much teach on everything that's inside the book. So the book is from energetic particles to material matter. I just want to make sure it wasn't upside down. From material matter, from energetic particles to material matter. It can be found on Amazon. So in this book, I'm speaking on manifestation, pretty much everything we were just speaking on here: meditation, possessing intelligence over the emotions that you experience, religion versus spirituality. I'm speaking on the childhood traumas, the toxic cycles, pretty much raising the awareness and giving people something to weigh against their own current beliefs, right? Because that's really the only way that we're going to grow is if we step outside of what we're conditioned to believe, to, weigh another option, or consider something else. And so that's really what it is, because I grew up in the church, so I was within the confines of the Bible, and I felt like, I couldn't really put the stories in alignment with my day to day. So that's why I really just had to tap into like infinity, like really like a divine, infinite source and force of energy. And so I have development courses that I'm putting together where it's predicated around pretty much the same topics. So I'm just giving insight and I'm raising awareness on a whole nother level. I have a health and wellness business. I lost 125 pounds by detoxing, taking vitamins, and just giving myself a fair advantage, because I wasn't fueling my body. It's just like a car. If you don't fuel your car with gas, it's not gonna run right. It's gonna be putting down the street. Same thing with your body. If you're not fueling your body with the things, the minerals, the amino acids, the vitamins that it needs, the fibers, then your thoughts are not going to function properly. The way you're going to be low on energy. You're not going to want to work out. So I do that. I do training calls for my team there because I'm building a team. I'm trying to get into building multiple streams of income. So sometimes I can move a little too fast. So I'm trying to, balance everything out and pace myself, because I'd be so excited. It's like, I never did this before. I could do this. I could do that. And so it's just like, I just want to do everything. And so the book, the business, the health and wellness business, the book, the developmental courses on Bigo. I'll be doing those Mondays and Fridays at 12:30 Central. I'll come up with different topic points, but it's all going to be revolving around raising your awareness to some capacity. I'm going to have panel discussions, so if people want to come up, because I don't want to be in preacher or teacher mode all the time. I do want to hear other people's opinion. I want questions. Because it's a lot of information that people can't really process. So I want people to be able to ask questions. So I'm gonna open up panels so that people could come on and we could just create a powerful synergy. This year I will be traveling. I will be giving seminars, speaking on the power of thought. The Wisdom and Wealth Tour is what I'm gonna call it. And so I'm just really getting my feet wet. I'm really just starting. I'm really tapping in. I've done all of my healing, and now it's kind of like, okay, now I got this whole blank canvas. What am I to do? And who am I going to take with me? And I'm just looking for whoever. I'm looking for the people that's looking for me. I understand that my message is not in alignment with everybody's season, and that's fine. I used to get offended because I'm like, oh, they're not receiving me. Maybe I said it wrong. Maybe I did this wrong. But now it's just like, no, I'm just looking for who's looking for me, and that's okay.
Exactly. God got you that way to reach a certain type of people. So it's not for, it might not be for everybody, but I guarantee you they listening, because you do have my attention. And with your health and wellness business, is it on your Instagram page?
Yes, it's on my it's a Linktree account. It's in my bio. You can click it. So I have detox, multi-liquid vitamins. A lot of people take Red Bull. So I have organic, energetic supplements that help you burn 300 to 600 calories. These are the things that I began incorporating when I was at my lowest. I needed something to look forward to. I used to look at these products as a scam because I tried weight loss products before and it never worked. And so I just felt like people were trying to sell something. And so I'm like, well, if I'm taking a chance on me, let me just go all in. Let me buy the product. Let me, become a product of my product before I start selling it, because I wanted to have my own transformation. I wanted to have a testimony. I didn't want to just sell something that I didn't believe in, because when I'm talking to you, it's going to be off kilter and you're going to feel some type of, and so I wanted to be fully engulfed in what I'm selling, what I'm, standing 10 toes down for. And so that's what I did. And those products gave me a different feel on life. It gave me the energy when I didn't feel like getting out of the bed. It gave me it just made room for my confidence and everything. So I hope I answered your question.
Girl, yes, you have. And just let me say, Queen, you look amazing. Oh my goodness.
Thank you so much.
You look amazing. You sound amazing. You have a glow on you. So it's this anointing that's on your face. Like your light is truly shining. And I want you to go forth and keep doing your great work. Keep living your best life. Live it out. And we thank you for sharing all the hearts. They throwing all the hearts up.
Thank y'all. I can't even see it.
Yeah, they got the hearts going and everything. This was, like I told them, it was gonna be epic tonight, and I thank you so much. So we are gonna follow you. We're gonna get that book from Amazon. So anybody else, right quick, because we gotta go. Divinity has been awesome. Thank you so much. Girl, my heart just so full. I'm so proud of you. Like, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I love it. I love to see young sisters making it happen. Oh my goodness, I'm so proud of you.
Yes, and me too. Just looking back, like I said, if you get a chance, go check out that Pure Consciousness, the Power of Repetition, and just you don't even gotta listen. You might want to listen to it, but just to look at it, it's just you could just imagine the mental work that a person, like it could really be done. Like I really, and looking at my transformation, I'm like, I know if I could transform my mind and my body, I could transform my bank account. And so It's really like preach.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's on YouTube. That's the video you was talking about that was on YouTube, right?
Pure Consciousness. Yep. The Power of Repetition. You'll see me.
Power of Repetition. Pure Consciousness. Yes, I'm gonna check that out. And again, thank you for everything tonight. You guys, next week is coming up. We're talking with Naima on vaginal steaming. Is my vagina depressed? So you guys tune in next week as we continue this physical healing, this mental healing, this divine healing, and everything is gonna be awesome. Again, throw your L's up for Live It Out Inc. Guys, you guys have been awesome. You make sure you go back and share this, girl, because you are awesome.
I will. I could just locate it. Where do I find it?
On Facebook, Live It Out Inc.
Facebook, Live It Out Inc.
Or YouTube.
Okay.
Yes, you.
Thank you, ladies.
Please share. And you have an awesome rest of the week. Enjoy your weekend.
You as well, Queen.
Going.
All right.
Live It Out.
Y'all take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Much love, Queen.
Okay, you too.